Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Let's Play Nier Automata. We're just gonna glide into the crater now since we have all three keys. We're gonna unlock the sub-towers individually and hack into each one, and then that will eventually open up the central access into the tower itself. The one that was erected seemingly out of nowhere at the beginning of Route C that we've been working our way towards this entire time. So we are coming up to the climax of Route C, but we still have quite a bit of game left to go. And each one of these has a completely unique hacking minigame. Unique routes. It's not like the randomly generated ones that we get for hacking into other machines. These are all constant. In this one, we just have to destroy 4 sets of spheres. And now the fun begins.
You've unlocked all of the features. Hello, and thank you for choosing Tower System Services. We apologize for the inconvenience.
Alert. Enemy caution level rising. Cause is most likely concern over Unit 9S gaining access to tower.
Notice how long this one's taking. We didn't even get a quarter of the way through that before enemies started showing up, and they're just gonna keep spawning in infinitely once we deal with this wave. And you saw the bar for the hacking deplete, so we will have to start over from scratch once we find an opening. But this scene is about to get really, really good. This is one of my favorite sequences in the whole game for its narrative audacity.
Wait, you?
9S, we've been expecting you. The two of us will take things from here. You need to open the door to the tower.
Devola? Popola? What are you doing here?
Remember your promise?
What are you talking about?
Come on, 9S. Hack in while you can.
None of this makes any sense!
We'll explain everything once we're inside.
And this is why I think this whole scene is a stroke of brilliance. I'm gonna lift this analysis partially from another source I read a long time ago, because just how ingenious this scenario is flew over my head at first. But there's a rule in storytelling, show, don't tell. Regarding Devola and Popola's persecution that we've been hearing about for a while, we're shown how the other androids view them, but what makes this scene especially brilliant is that Yoko Taro goes one step further and proves their persecution by making the player complicit in that prejudice, by calling back to Nier and forcing you to assume that they're about to betray you and attack you. Tell me in that moment where they're between 9S and the tower with swords drawn, you didn't think, oh, fuck these two, and get ready to fight them. Like, tell me that you did not have that initial reaction. Even if you didn't play Nier, the blocking of that scene
What's this barrier?
gets you to conjure up those emotions, that hatred.
Well, how do I break it down?
Hypothesis. Unit 9S could permit his self-consciousness data to lose control. The resulting energy surge has an acceptable probability of temporarily paralyzing the barrier.
That's almost as bad as not going in at all!
And that's why they feel the need to sacrifice themselves, because everyone, including you the player, are judging them for actions they didn't participate in.
It's the barrier.
Popola!
No, don't! You can't do anything! The wall's got a self-closing
Enough!
algorithm!
Devola and I have to atone for our sins no matter what!
But if you do that, your circuits will...
Devola! Right.
Devola!
I hope you don't regret this.
And now for something completely different. Data records for Devola and Popola. Of course, we're going to open that now, because we have another in-game novella. The novelty and the audaciousness of these sequences just really gets me. A dusty wind kisses my cheeks. Buried in sand, we press forward one step at a time. We have nowhere else to go after all. Because our models, the Devola and Popola models, are defective. When first we woke, there were still people. They had flesh, egos, emotions, souls, and they issued us a single order. Function as observers of Project Gestalt. This is the sole mission of the twin Devola and Popola models. It is the only reason we exist at all. We were the latest model, though many companions shared our appearance. There was a sparkle in all of our eyes, a sense of pride at having been entrusted with humanity's future. And yes, there was anxiety as well. But we existed as a pair. We shared destiny's burden as a pair, and because of that, all hesitation was swept away. Each pair was given their own cities as observation areas. We were ordered to guide the replicants with our own hands, all for the sake of the promised time that would one day arrive. We were the only ones who could handle such a duty. We were observers, after all. Ah! Watch out! Devola staggers and falls in the soft yet unforgiving sand. I hurry to her side and sigh with relief when I find she is not seriously hurt. Are you alright? Sorry, sis. Guess I spaced out there for a sec. She smiles, the same wry smile I know so well, as she rubs absently at her leg. It's wrapped in a white bandage. Your bandage is coming undone. Here, let me change it. It's alright, Popola. Come on, we have to go before we lose the light. We won't be going anywhere if sand gets into that thing. Now quit whining and hold still. I'll be quick. Devola grunts and turns away. I take it as consent. Soon we're resetting in the shade. Ooh, wow, I fucked that up. Soon we're resting in the shade. Artificial skin, torn and bloodied, peeks out from beneath the bandage. Judging by Devola's current lack of ambulatory control, I imagine the circuitry underneath has been damaged. Taking a deep breath, we actually get a choice here. We can replace the bandage, or check the circuitry, and try to repair it. Note that I don't think this actually matters. I could be wrong. As expected, wiring in the nerve circuitry has been damaged. Replacing it will require new connectors as well as some tools. None of which is easy to find in a desert. Sorry about this, sis, mutters Devola. That wry smile again. It kills me every time. Don't you dare apologize, I respond. You've done nothing wrong. I calmly change the bandage, trying not to let my worry show. I make it as tight as possible, so no sand can slip inside. It's all I can do until I get the proper materials. But that's gonna be a tall order, considering our current condition. I'm sorry, sister. Okay, now you're apologizing. We both apologize while insisting the other's apology isn't necessary. It's kind of funny in a way. Such a trivial exchange under such circumstances. We laugh together, the sound echoing out across the desert before being stolen by the cool evening wind. There has to be some way to prevent relapses. Devola's sharp voice echoes through our private quarters. You must be quiet, sister. The replicants will hear. They wouldn't understand even if they did. Oh, but they did. That might be true, but regardless. Annoyed at my hesitation, Devola crosses her legs and scowls. The Black Scrawl took another victim, she says. That's 3 this month. It's spreading way too fast. Let's wait and see what happens. I'm tired of hearing you say that. Her shout makes me jump. Just a little, but enough for her to notice. Seeing that, her eyes suddenly open wide. I'm sorry, sis. It's not your fault. I shouldn't have lashed out like that. It's okay, I understand. It's all going wrong. You can feel it too, right? When I was first assigned to Project Gestalt, I was over the moon with pride. But now my chest hurts just to think about it. If it were to fail... Before we knew it, the replicants had gained a sense of self, and the Black Scrawl started raging out of control. It moved fast. So fast. Like a wind. Popola and I would go to the observation room and act like it was all okay. We'd talk to the replicants as if we didn't have a care in the world. But at night, we'd just hold each other and share the horror of it all. I'm glad you were with me, murmurs Popola. I couldn't have handled being an observer all alone. We were able to endure because we had each other, I reply softly. Did the humans see this coming? Is that why they made a twin model? Were they really so clever? Were they really so cruel? I couldn't have done this by myself. I would have descended into madness. I simply couldn't bear such a burden, all alone. When I get the chance, I'm gonna try contacting another city, she says. Maybe these abnormalities are a localized phenomenon. I pray that's the case, I reply. Even if we're of no use ourselves, things will still work out if the other observers can pull through. Don't worry, it's gonna be okay. But it wasn't okay. Nothing was okay. All thanks to a pair of Devola and Popola models from another town. The wind rubs my cheeks. The sand grazes my skin. It's grown cold out here. We walk with renewed purpose, hoping to make up for lost time. Devola loses her balance every now and then, gets bad after a while. I slip myself under her arm so she won't fall again, and we press on. Is your leg alright? Well, I doubt I'll be dancing anytime soon, but yeah, it's fine. She smiles as she says this, but I can tell she doesn't have much left, and yet she continues to smile, also I don't worry. Also, I won't worry. I remember when our resistance allies injured her leg. I was furious. Beyond fury. I wanted to scream and cry and lose myself in it. But then she smiled, and all of that rage just drifted away. To think we have the same face, yet such different smiles. One day, I realized how she reminded me of the martyrs I'd seen in old records. That was the day we decided to leave our town forever. Our role as observers ended on the day Project Gestalt collapsed, all due to the actions of Devola and Popola models from another town. With the original Gestalt lost, humanity was doomed to an inevitable extinction. Knowing this, we gathered what remaining replicant data we could find, and launched it to the surface of the moon. And though success was as unlikely as finding a lost sand grain in the desert, we still had to attempt it. We still had to try. We were androids, you see. Protecting humanity was our instinct. Other androids, beholden to that same instinct, began to direct their hate at the Devola and Popola models, who'd snuffed out humanity. It started small, a few offhand remarks, the occasional glance. But even the smallest things have weight. And with enough of them combined, that weight eventually becomes a boulder. Emotions boiled over, remarks became jeers, and soon enough, my sister and I were the perfect target for persecution. At first, we simply accepted the fact that our friends turned on us. It was almost unavoidable, I suppose. We were observers for Project Gestalt, after all. And while we didn't cause it to fail, the people who did, well, they looked just like us. So we accepted it. We took the resentment and scorn. We endured. Because as crazy as it sounds, I think we actually felt responsible. We moved from town to town in an effort to avoid persecution. But in one such town, my seemingly infinite patience finally broke. My sister Devola met with unprovoked violence at the hands of a resistance member. She said something in response to his taunts. Something quiet. And though her words were ambiguous, he slashed her leg nearly in two. My vision narrowed, everything went red, and then she smiled at me. It's okay, sis. There's nothing we can do. But it was too late. My emotions were no longer in my control. I'm simply not strong enough to stand aside and let the most important person in the world come to harm. Devola and I left town that same day. violence like that wouldn't stop. It was gonna happen again. And it wouldn't be coming from just one person. So rather than let them kill us, we ran. I guess it was the greatest resistance I could muster. We lose the sun as dark clouds gather overhead. We continue our march. A cold wind blasts us, stealing what little body heat we have left. I smell rain in the air. We continue our march. Sometimes we hear animals howling in the distance. It makes us flinch every time. But we continue our march, because even this is better than suffering at the hands of our fellow androids. Why must we suffer this persecution? I know we're the same model as the androids who doomed humanity, so I understand that part. At least a little, anyway. But at the same time, we're not them. We're not the same. We are who we are. And that Devola and Popola were who they were. That's how I felt when I saw Devola being hurt. I wanted to shout it at everyone. I wanted to scream. As far as I'm concerned, there's only one Devola. And for her, there's only one Popola. There's only me. No one can take the other's place. Rain falls from the sky. It stimulates our sensation nerves like cold needles. We need maintenance badly, but that's a pipe dream, I suppose. No android would dare help a pair of outcasts like us. Are you cold, Devola? I'm alright. As long as you're with me, sis. I feel the same. We press our bodies together to try and retain heat. It's cold now, much worse than the searing heat of midday. But we just smile at each other and keep pressing on. There's another camp on the other side of the desert. A new camp. If we could just get there, I can finally fix Devola's leg. And yet I wonder if there's anywhere on this planet that will take us. Hey, what's wrong? It's nothing, don't worry about it. I do what I can to suppress the anxiety in my chest and keep walking. The rain grows worse. It lashes at us without pause. Is this our punishment? I reach out and either touch Devola's cheek or support her body. The rain flows down our cheeks like tears. I reach over and gently wipe it away. She smiles but seems surprised. There's no point in doing that, you know, she whispers. But there is, because I swore to myself that I would stay with her forever. For that is the fate we twin androids have been assigned. The failure to manage the area resulted in the collapse of the Gestalt system, which led to the decimation of the human race. Due to the discovery of its instability, the twin system was removed from future android production designs. Following the incident, the Devola and Popola models were not dismantled. However, in order to prevent further unexpected behavior, they underwent a memory wipe. Furthermore, they were reprogrammed to generate constant feelings of guilt.
That is all that remains from their personal record during the era in which they were referred to as administrators.
I see.
Query. Why do the androids Devola and Popola seem to prefer death over surviving alone? There was a very high probability that at least one could have escaped.
I hope you never have to understand.
Affirmative. Query. Why does this tower possess an entrance at all? All material transport takes place via aerial vehicles. It is irrational for an infiltration route to be so easily accessible. Hypothesis. Entrance is a trap.
I don't care. I just have to kill them all.
Poor Devola, poor Popola, poor 9S, poor Pod. Just trying to comprehend what's going on while slowly
Units.
developing its own self-awareness. Pod is basically going through robo-puberty right now. And having to cope with all of this and synthesize all this new information. Oh, it's just another one of these. I forgot these are the same for all the hacking sequences. And we get more lore on Project Gestalt and all the stuff from the first game. This is probably the most significant way in which
Choosing Tower System Services.
the first game gets tied into Automata.
You've chosen to visit the tower today. Don't forget about the special prize for the guest who unlocks the last subunit in the room just ahead. You're going to love it.
2B models? I'm glad I got to see you here. I truly am. I'll tear you apart. Every last one of you!
Oh, this is not the one I wanted, but the shockwave will still do the job tearing ass through this room. I wanted Dark Mirage, which I think is actually on my laser. Still gotta wait for the skill to cool down, though. That should also really shred these. Oh, man. What a low blow for 9S.
Don't worry, I'm going to kill you now!
You can really hear him just losing it. His descent has been gradual. We're coming up on the cherry on top of his whole existence just being upended. Yeah, let's see how this does. This isn't even all of this isn't even all of them, but it's still a healthy portion of them. They change tones on a dime. Oh, I love it. Laser's also quite handy because of the way they group up. I think I've underused the laser throughout this LP.
Alert. Enemies detected.
Still a few stragglers, huh?
That cold monotone in his voice. I mean, I've said it before, but I'll keep saying it. 9S's voice actor does a phenomenal job in this role.
Alert. The structure known as the tower has opened its gate.
Let's check it out.
We're gonna take a momentary detour to also move 9S into the tower. And kind of put them in similar positions on the board.
A2, right? We went ahead and opened the tower. 9S is already inside. I see. Say, did we manage to help? You did.
This whole entrance is like one enormous elevator.
This is a Yorha corpse.
Hypothesis. The corpse is likely a result of Yorha Unit 9S's advance through the area.
Let's go.
Yeah, so 9S is obviously here ahead of us. It's just not clear how far behind we're lagging. But this room gives kind of an indication.
What's the purpose of this structure?
Unknown. Proposal. Gather additional data.
Someday I need to teach you how to be helpful.
Since this is all clear, there aren't even many corpses left aside from the one or two A2 remarked on leading up to the room where the 2B fight just happened. And up ahead is something of a wonderful little callback. The library.
What's up with this place?
Hypothesis. It is a representation of a library.
What's that?
A library is a data storage facility constructed by past human civilizations.
And we will go deeper into the library and probably the end of the game next episode. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.